Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, Conversations and Cocktails with Brilliant Women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. What do you do when your dream business hits a wall? More than once. In this episode, I'm joined by Larissa Banting, a former publicist turned seven-figure wedding planner who's no stranger to reinvention. From navigating business in a new country without Wi-Fi to losing over $100,000 to internal theft and surviving a pandemic shutdown with grace, Larissa doesn't just pivot, she pirouettes. We talk about resilience, reinvention, riding literal and metaphorical horses, and why now is the time to stop hiding your light and start sharing your story. If you've ever felt like giving up, you need this episode in your earbuds. Here is Larissa Banting.
Hello.
Hi, Larissa. It's nice to meet you. So you're in Canada, correct?
I'm originally from Canada. I live in Costa Rica.
Oh, yes, I did see that. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love Costa Rica.
Oh, have you been here?
Yeah, a couple different times for a retreat that I had earned through the company that I was working with. We did in-home wine tastings.
Oh, nice.
It was very fun.
That's a nice gig.
It was a great gig. Yeah, I loved it. And yeah, that was one of our award trips to go to. So yeah, it was very fun.
Wow.
It's been a number of years.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been here since 2002.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, wow. Okay, what took you there? How did you end up getting there?
Okay, well, I've been a publicist since 1993, so I was working as a unit publicist. So that means when we're shooting a movie or television show, I'm there on set to get all the photographs and like put everything together in the media kit. So when they go to release it, the people who are going to be doing the publicity for the release have all that material. Okay. So we were shooting a movie of the week down here on the Caribbean coast, and I met one of the actors, and he's my husband now.
Oh, it's always about a boy.
Yeah, I know, right? But it was so I had to do a pivot when I moved down here.
Yeah.
Because, back in 2002, like we were still on dial-up internet and using fax machines. Like there was no laptop lifestyle. There was no social media. So and I moved here. I didn't speak Spanish at that time. Didn't know the landscape for PR. So it was like, well, there was no way to do my job from here in Canada. So I had to pivot, and I started working with a travel agency. And then that kind of parlayed itself into me doing the weddings for them. And then that took off because I did events I worked in PR and marketing for years in Canada doing events. So I opened up the second destination wedding firm in Costa Rica and one of the first in Central America. And I used PR because I didn't have money for ads. Because back then you had to, you either did Google AdWords or you did glossy wedding magazine ads, which cost like the price of a car.
A lot.
Yeah. So I didn't have the money for that. So what I did is I actually hired a publicist through a friend. She was starting her own PR firm. She was leaving a big agency in New York, but she knew travel and she knew weddings. And I didn't know those verticals. So worked with her and ended up getting a whole bunch of PR, like magazine spreads and whatnot. And that led to me being named to the A-list top 30 destination wedding planners in the world by Destination Weddings magazine. And then we hit seven figures our next year.
Wow. The very next year. So that was year 2?
That was year 3. We were named to the top 30.
Okay.
And then we hit, over $1 million in our 4th year.
There's a hockey stick trajectory for you.
It It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Well, and it sounds like a really, really good thing, but I'm sure there were some struggles through that too, or
Oh
some
God, yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of hockey sticks, put it that way.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. I think so many people think, oh, if I do this, it's just going to go up, 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 and that's really not reality for entrepreneurs, especially.
Well, yeah. And the thing was like, I'm not like one thing I've realized I'm not a manager. I don't like
Mm,
managing people.
hmm.
Um, and with the culture here, like we had 14 employees at one point
Mm,
because we had the wedding planning company, but why we were able to hit seven figures was because we also opened a travel agency.
hmm.
And because I was the most like what I saw was that's the part that people really struggle with.
Hmm.
Because back then there was no Expedia, there was no Airbnb, there was none of that.
Yeah.
So and my husband had come from, even though he was an actor, he had a tourism background. He was the first
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was the first Costa Rican to open a whitewater rafting company here.
Wow. Full
Yeah,
circle.
full
Well,
circle.
that's the other thing too. I think a lot of people also believe that, okay, I need all these skills. I need to do this alone. I'm a lone wolf, and you try and do it all. And yeah, you really need a village.
Yeah, you
Yep.
do. You do. And back then, of course, we just didn't have all of the amazing software tools that we have now. So
Yeah.
as we
Yep.
grew, we needed to have people to actually physically do all of these things. And what happened was in 2008, I had my child right at the
Mm,
beginning of January. And then, of course, like the whole economic
2008.
down
Mm,
happened. But weddings, thank goodness, like
mm.
people will always get married.
Yeah. Right.
And destination weddings became even more popular because all of a sudden
Oh,
it's like, well, here's a way for us to cut down the guest list
yeah.
and not kind of, like we have it's like, oh geez, we can't invite everybody because we're going to Costa Rica, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So and then there are actually some of the boutique hotels. I remember one of them, they said to us, like, weddings is what kept us afloat
Wow.
because people
I
just didn't
believe it.
cancel getting married. So,
Yeah.
so in the middle of the economic downturn, I put the travel agency portion up for sale because I was just like, I just couldn't do it, Penny. Like having a newborn, we had 13 weddings in 1 month. It would be like 4 hours minimum each way.
Wow.
And I just couldn't do it. I was just like, I can't be everyone's mom. So I put it up for sale. Yeah.
The other thing that strikes me too is you pivoted so many times, but people get afraid of, making changes, but you're not starting over. You're building on what you already have built, and your knowledge, your experience, all of that is going into the next new thing, even though you might have gotten rid of this piece, you're still, growing this other piece and new things are coming to you. And wow, it's just, there's a lot of growth happening, even though it feels scary in the moment, I'm sure.
It does, because you're like, am I doing the right decision? And then we started downsizing. But then what happened was, uh, then we moved and we got a office, like a front space, a commercial space.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Because when I went to one of his wedding planning conferences, I'd made a connection with Crane. So they do like they're one of the largest invitation companies in
Oh,
the
okay.
US. In fact, they also print the US money.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. So they
gosh.
also did like Vera Wang and William Arthur. So they have like,
Okay.
like the different levels. So they didn't have anyone representing them in Central America. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take this on. So we had the commercial front for this invitation because there weren't like the invitations here were like not well done. And no one was
Mm,
doing engraving, no one was doing letterpress. It was just all digital.
mm.
And I thought, well, here's an opportunity and it's much cheaper than what they're doing here because everything's made you pick it out, we do the you see everything, we order it and it
Huh?
comes. And that was a mistake because you know what, they wanted
Oh,
to see like the actual physical, how's it going to look, and it's like, okay, well, we can't set up the press for one invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that you think would be so easy to do, but it just did not translate to here. And I was paying for this commercial space. It's like, well, why do I need all this space? It was a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
basically to store a bunch of stuff. And the travel agency had moved in next door. And then we were having issues. Like I actually had clients that said to me, at the weddings, you guys as wedding planners were fantastic, but the travel agency that we worked with, doesn't reflect well on you. So I had to
Mm.
have that really difficult conversation
Uh-huh.
and say to the people who had purchased it, like, because they were in Canada and they had someone hired here who was running the day to day.
Okay.
And I had to have that conversation and say, I'm sorry, I have to break with you because it is affecting my reputation.
Wow.
Yeah. Also because of the advent of Expedia and Travelocity and all this,
Uh-huh.
the travel dipped. We
It
were
was
not,
less.
yeah,
Okay. Wow. Everything converging at once there to
yeah,
make it happen.
yeah. And then it turned out that we found that my office manager, who was like a family member to us, had
Uh-huh.
been stealing.
Oh no.
Yeah, stealing money. So, luckily the lease was just ending.
Mm.
So we were going to work from home. And I thought, I don't be spending $2,000 a month on this space that I don't need because
Mhm.
my clients were all in North America. And if they came to Costa Rica, we were going to visit the different vendors. We weren't meeting in my office.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then we were doing, because it was like, like why is there no money in the accounts and why am I having to pony up to like cover the hotel bill of the guests
Uh-oh.
coming in, and we started doing some,
Audits.
looking into it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so we're probably about $100,000.
Oh my. Oh, that's so disappointing
Yeah,
when you
so
put your trust in someone.
I know it was really hard, and then so what ended up happening is, it was just I eventually whittled it down to just me. And because there's that tipping point. You think, oh, I'm going to grow, like you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
earlier. But the reality is that you reach a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you've got all these sales, but it's because your expenses are also,
Mm. Yeah,
you
right.
hire so many people and whatnot. So like you have to make that much money but you're not making more profit.
Exponentially more. Yeah. Yeah. You're covering
So
costs, but the profit is not as much, or maybe it might be the same as if you were working for yourself.
exactly, and a lot less headaches. And then, of
Dang.
course, COVID hit. So, but right before COVID
Jeez.
hit, I'd start getting more involved in the online space. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
so I wanted to have like a backup,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew I wanted to exit at some point. And, but talking about pivoting, so I'd gotten when chatbots first came out, I was like, I'm going to go in all in with chatbots. And I made my first course to sell online, with chatbots and whatnot. And then something twigged, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm accredited in public relations. I've been doing PR since like 1993. I have all this
Mm-hmm.
experience. Why am I reinventing the wheel? Why don't I just lean in to what
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at, what has built my business and I love? So
Mm-hmm.
I had just created this self-liquidating offer, a standalone offer. I did a training called Pitch Perfect. So
Okay.
it was like a, 45-minute workshop
Uh-huh.
with everything that you needed to learn how to, go and put yourself out to the media.
Okay.
So, you run Facebook ads to that. It's a $27 offer. So the whole idea is that $27 is paying for the cost of the Facebook ads. And
Uh-huh. To build your
when
list.
to build your list, right? So you're building a
Mm-hmm.
list of buyers, not freebie seekers. But once they
Mm-hmm.
get in on the checkout page, then you have an order bump. And in my
Mm-hmm.
case, it was the emails that we use to actually pitch out to the media for $17. And then the next step is like right before they check out is like, wait, there's a one-time offer. And in our
Mm.
case, we had the not so little black book. So it was like a whole like full meal deal. The next part of it, the email templates, and then you've got all that information, but who do you pitch this out to? Here's the list with
Yeah.
1,400 connections for $97. So now that $27 offer is potentially $141. And I turned that on the first week of March. Our borders
Of
closed
2020?
of 2020.
Wow,
Our
timing is
borders,
everything.
it was crazy because yeah, like March 19, the borders closed down.
Yep. Yep.
We had no business as a wedding company for 10 months.
Wow.
And my husband was at that point had a catering company.
Oh my.
So, and we
Yikes.
didn't have like the government here did not like not wasn't like in Canada or the US where they were giving money to businesses. We were like
Mhm.
on our own.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Scary.
It was very scary. It was very scary. And plus we had to also refund. I had my biggest wedding of the year ended up canceling because, we didn't know it was just
People
going
couldn't
on and going
gather.
on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the banks here, like they would take like a 5% fee for the credit card processing.
Uh-huh.
Plus, they would take taxes, withholding taxes. So it was about 11% I would lose, 11 to 13% I would lose on every single credit card, pass it.
Dang. So not just that wasn't your fee, that was on top of the fee. So you were losing
I was
11%-ish.
losing 11% to the government and to the
Oh,
bank. And so I had to turn around and refund everybody, plus give them back this money that I did not get returned from the bank.
mm-hmm.
So that was a very tough year.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so you had set up this self-liquidating offer in March. Did that start bringing in?
Yes.
Thank God.
Thankfully, that started like right off the bat because at that point SLOs were still pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
And the costs for Facebook ads were a lot lower. It was a lot easier to
Mm-hmm.
target more, get really micro into the targeting.
Oh,
And
right. The data processing and all. Yeah. The
yeah,
collection of data was a lot less tied
yes, it was like back in the golden era.
for
Like as we look
marketers. Yeah.
back on it now. But but also that parlayed itself into me opening a PR agency. So I opened
Cool.
my PR agency in June. Plus, my husband got a job as the private chef for the former CEO of LinkedIn, who moved his family down here in August of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what really saved us. So what happened was like, I have to tell you, like I felt like the stuffing was just kind of knocked out of me, you know,
Oh, yeah.
after
Hard
the
to get back up after all those things.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And with my husband working up 4 hours away, I basically was kind of like single parenting it. So,
Oh,
and we live up on a hill and there's no bus, and I have to drive my daughter to meet the school bus because they won't come up here.
uh-huh.
She's a competitive horse jumper, so like mom's taxi. So if
Right.
I was away at a wedding, it was like very difficult to maneuver
Oh,
her anywhere, right?
uh-huh.
So that's when it really was like, I really need to move on. And so I put the wedding business up for sale. And, as Kismet would have it, one night I was on LinkedIn and someone I had connected with had put a message up saying, hey, I'm looking to purchase like, small businesses. And so I connected
Ding,
with
ding,
him and
ding.
he owns two catering companies in
Oh,
Alabama. And so I ended up, yeah, he bought the company in July of 2023.
okay. Wow. Hello, friend. Let's be real. When's the last time you did something just for you? Enter Wine Camp 2026. We're talking wine tastings, fire pit chats, sunset dinner cruises, and zero cooking required. Just show up, sip something fabulous, and reconnect with the version of you who loves adventure, sisterhood, and a glass of local Riesling in hand. Sweet, dry, or both. No judgment here. We're heading to New York's gorgeous Finger Lakes, July 31st through August 2nd. And yes, it's as dreamy as it sounds. Secure your spot at pennyforyourshots.com/winecamp. Don't wait. Room options are limited, and my crystal ball says we're going to sell out. Bring your besties or fly solo like the fabulous free spirit you are. You'll leave with new favorites either way. Wine Camp 2026 is calling. The only question is, are you in? Find out more at pennyforyourshots.com/wine camp. One thing leads to another, to another, to another.
Yeah.
I was
So
just talking
never
with
too
someone
late.
else too about how all of these things that knock you down are so scary in the moment, but they usually lead to something amazing. But it's
Yes.
really hard to see that when when you're in the thick of it and thinking, how am I going to get my daughter to the bus? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to meet these fees? What are these bankers going to take next? All of the things that you had to deal with are so scary in the moment, but look at where they've led.
Yeah. Well, it's like what who is it that says everything is figure outable? Amy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Porterfield. And
Yes.
that's so true. Like in the middle of it, it was like pretty scary. But I was like, like we just were honest with people. Like when we went to like the hotels and whatnot, and we just or our vendors were like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Here's
the
the situation.
situation. Um, and can we work something out with you? And so they did. I was very thankful of that. And when it came to COVID, like luckily I had pivoted beforehand
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and just was like, okay, like I can sit here and freeze and panic and be
Right.
me, or I can just like shake it off.
Mhm.
And how do I get myself out of this? Right?
I used to say that too. So I had a pretty large team when COVID hit and doing the wine tastings. And of course, we had to pivot too. But I
Yeah.
would say that a lot, like in the words of the famous philosopher Taylor Swift, shake it off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all
It's
you can
true. You
do.
have to. What else are you going to do? Are you going to sit and just wither and not do anything? No, find a way to make what you're doing work. What do you love to do? Do more of that. What do people want? What do they need? And when people are shut down, what do you want to do? Well, I might as well take a course. Let me learn something new. And I'm not going to stop drinking through this. So I'm going to order a bottle of wine or case. And
Yeah. Or three.
no judgments.
No. Well, I think, at one point, I think they were trying here, it was so crazy. They were trying to like minimizing how much alcohol you could buy at one point.
Really?
Yeah. And there was like a
During
human.
COVID?
Yes. It was like, really? No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Big
They act, oh,
in on
that's
that
what
one.
yes, that's what I remember at the beginning of COVID in the grocery stores, they had taped off all of, yeah, the alcohol. I just
Really?
remembered that. And we like I was like for the first couple of weeks, and it was like, well, thank God we got like, we had a stash.
Uh-huh.
But it was like
Was it
kind of,
because of hoarding or something, or that they were trying to
no, it
ration
was
it or?
like they were, I don't know. I think they were, oh, I know what it was. It's because they didn't want people gathering.
Oh, and that's where they're going to gather.
Yeah, so they don't want people like with that buy they somehow they thought if we have alcohol available, people are going to get together and they're going to gather
Oh, they're going to share it. No.
and have
Mm-mm.
parties. And we had the driving restrictions, like you couldn't be on the road after I think 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night because
Oh my
again,
goodness.
and we like there was only certain days that we could drive. It was very
Wow.
regulated. Yes,
Huh. I
yeah,
had no idea.
yeah, it was like super serious here, and like even like for grocery stores, like everybody had sinks out front. Yeah, so it was like, how do you? But yeah, so it was like,
Oh,
okay, how do we pivot, right? Like what you
yeah.
did.
Yeah. A lot of Zoom wine tastings. And, you had to have fun was not canceled.
You just had to like, become creative with
Just,
it.
you just get creative. Yeah. I'll ship you some wine and let's taste it together. I'll taste mine, you taste yours, but together we're sharing how to pair it with foods and do all the things. So, yeah, it was still very fun, but just in a very, very different way.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It seems like it was so long ago, but then again, it was. It wasn't.
Yeah. Blink of an eye.
Yeah, yeah, but it's I guess it's, like, cause I the pivoting, like, it also opened my mind because I was like, I remember I was doing something 2 years ago and I was a questionnaire for a summit. And they're like,
Yeah.
what are your hobbies? And I sat there for a second. I went, I don't have any. Like I've gotten to that point in my life where everything was either work or my
Oh,
daughter. And I realized, and I
oh,
used to be
wow.
like, I was the hobby queen. Like I was running clubs, I was a dancer, I would taught dancing, like, I was never home. And then I thought, you know what? I need to do something for myself. And so
Yes.
I started horseback riding.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. At
Yeah, it's so
57.
important to have things that are for you. I mean, I think that's so common with a lot of women, especially. I mean, a lot of people, but women especially. I feel like we raise our family or, you're busy putting one foot in front of the other. You're doing your career, you're trying to make things work, you're pivoting, you're trying to keep all the balls in the air. And then you wake up one day and realize, what did I want to do? What's important to me? Or what made me, what makes me fun? All these
Yeah.
other experiences. Wow. So had you been a horseback rider before, or was this a new thing that you learned?
No, no. I mean, I grew up, I was always in dance. Like my mother had taught
Mm-hmm.
dancing. So I started dancing when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And
Yeah.
went on, I studied like my degrees in dance. I was a professional
Really?
dancer. Yeah, I written research papers about dance in Canada. I had my own column in two different magazines as the dance critic in Edmonton.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like all in on dance, and I'd always loved horses. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
growing up in Hamilton, Ontario, that was something only like I didn't know anyone who had a horse, and that was only for very rich people to do horseback riding.
Mm-hmm.
But when my daughter was little, we put her into dance classes and nothing stuck. It was like it wasn't her thing, but she always loved the little pony rides at the park on the weekends.
Yeah.
And one day we were at the Queen's birthday put on by the British Association here,
Uh-huh.
and they had like, horses, so
Uh-huh.
we did a horse ride, and she was just like in her glory. And the lady's like, well,
Mm.
our stable's just up the road, and we have
Here
class.
we go.
And I was like, okay. So, the next week we shipped her off, and there she was, like 5 years old, her little Hello Kitty rain boots.
Oh.
And that was it. So she's been doing it ever since. And
Oh,
we now have our own horse, but she's going to be leaving for university in a year.
okay.
And our horse, unfortunately, does not want to jump in competitions anymore. Like she's great
Oh, yep.
she's amazing
I
in
feel that.
but yeah, as soon as she knows it's a competition, she's like, no, I'm not jumping. And she's 18, so and she's
Yeah.
in wonderful shape, but to try and sell a horse that's not going to jump in competitions makes it really hard. And
Oh,
so it's like, what am I going to do with this horse? So I started I thought, well, I'll start horseback riding. I'm here all the time anyways, and it seems like good exercise. And I've always wanted it. Like I've ridden horses, but
mm-hmm.
like just no,
Yeah.
not with a class.
Yeah.
And I'm doing English, so of course that's way more complicated because
Okay.
there's nothing to hold on to, right?
Oh,
On the
wow.
saddle, there's no horn like in Western, and you just got like little teeny tiny like bars for stirrups.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have to have really good balance. So, but I've always loved dressage because it's like dancing with the horses.
Yeah.
And it turns out our horse used to do dressage, and she's wonderful at it.
Oh,
So,
and she still loves to do it.
but it's a goal, like it's like I have a goal. I literally I had a class right before this interview, and the horse I ride in class fortunately spooked
Oh,
and I fell.
oh
So
no.
yeah, but it's like again, like just got up, brushed myself off, and literally got back up on the horse, which is
Oh my
I was
gosh.
thinking I was driving and thinking, it's a good metaphor for business.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Get back up.
You have to, as an entrepreneur, what else are you going to do? There's no safety.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
is you.
Yeah. And try not to break a hip.
Yeah. Well, I fell off. I mean, I did fall off a year ago, and I had a really like it was a bad fall where I
Mm.
hurt my hip and I couldn't ride for like 6 months. But and it was on this horse. It was like galloping, and so I started, working my way up to galloping again on another horse because my coach knew. He's like, physically you're ready, but mentally I wasn't there. So
Oh,
last week I started galloping on her again, and it
wow.
okay. It was like overcoming that fear.
Yeah.
But I also after I fell that last year, I bought a vest.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, I can't have a safety net, but I can protect myself. And
Some
again, it's
padding.
some padding. It's like, okay, well, how do I apply that lesson to business?
Mm. Mm.
You can learn lessons from your day to day and also see how can I apply that to what I'm doing as a business owner.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing too is you always, I feel like you always have to be learning something new. If you're not pushing yourself, or pushing yourself sounds scary to some and not fun. So instead, maybe flip it to, I get to play with horses. I get to learn something new. I get to do this fun thing that I've wanted to explore. And isn't it cool to be learning something new about it and a new skill and applying it in other areas? So yeah, if we can flip that in our heads and make, well, anything,
Yeah.
gamify anything.
But that gamifying, and I also think, because when you're an expert in your field, you've put in those 10,000 hours. It's really hard to remember what it was like to be
Yes,
taking those first couple of steps, that first 20 minutes on that journey.
exactly.
And I think especially if you're like trying to do any kind of like courses or teach people, or it's important to be able to go back and understand um, where people are at. And, because I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, they're so good at what they do, they kind of forget that. And so then they're wondering, well, why aren't people like responding? It's because
Yeah.
you're 10 steps ahead.
Yeah. Well, and you're 10 steps ahead in the thing that you do really, really well. But maybe you need to look at, okay, is that still relevant? Is that still the best way to do it in 2025?
Mhm.
Maybe there's something new that's available that would make it a lot easier or make it a better experience for not only the person you're teaching, but their people,
Well, yeah,
their
and
audience.
I think with what we're seeing with Chat GPT right now, with
Mm-hmm.
AI, there's a lot of fear. People are
Mm-hmm.
panicking about it. I mean, I saw, I don't know if you saw like last week, the CEO of Fiverr wrote a letter to basically everybody on Fiverr saying, yes, the computers are coming for your jobs.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, which was like,
What
oh.
could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. But this is the thing. It's like, you know what? I remember, and I'm sure the listeners remember as well, when the internet first came on board, when email,
Oh, right.
like everything was like, oh, this is going to
New
upend
is scary.
everything. I mean, what was it? Gosh, 1999. Remember when everything was
Oh,
going to
yeah. Y2K.
Y2K? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I was on the crisis communications team. I was heading that.
Yes.
Like, so, but the thing is, like, all of the doomsayers,
Yeah.
there was changes. And I think, again, it's going back to what we were saying earlier about people being afraid of change. And how do I make that pivot? Well, the people who thrive are the ones who are like, okay, you know what? I'm going to embrace this.
It's an
And
opportunity.
exactly. And how do, and
Hmm.
I've personally have been taking Chat GPT. Like, obviously, I don't use it ever to pitch to the media because for various reasons, one being ethically, number two is the media hates Chat GPT. In fact,
Mm.
the New York Times was suing the makers of it because it basically is scraping all of their
Oh, right.
copyrighted material. They've paid
They're
these rights,
proprietary information.
proprietary information, and they're just scraping it and then reusing
Oh,
it.
using it. Hmm.
So yeah, so they launched it in
Intellectual property.
intellectual property. They launched that, I think it was January of 2024. So I'm not sure where that is right now, but they actually have detectors. So
Hmm.
if you pitch something to the media and they see that it has been generated by ChatGPT, you will get blacklisted. Your email
Wow.
will get blacklisted. So for anybody out there who is, thinking about, oh, I want to try and start pitching myself to the media, please, 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 like use it to generate some ideas. Fantastic.
Brainstorm. Yeah.
Brainstorm, but make sure what you are writing is actually yours.
Yeah. ChatGPT has made my life so much easier, just to be able to brainstorm ideas, to be able to hone like what's important, scraping my own data and looking at what has been popular, what is really useful for people, how can I take this into service of others instead of here, write this for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think most people are doing the right thing and not using it just to write, to take their place of writing. But if they are using it like that, it's easy to detect. It's
Mhm.
easy
Oh
to
yeah.
see that.
There's like those certain words that prop up and you're just like, that was a computer.
Ding. Yeah. Yeah. Everything sounds the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's somebody for on LinkedIn and he has AI for LinkedIn to do like, leave thoughtful comments on people's, but you can tell
Oh,
it's like a sore thumb that
that
sticks out.
it's not thoughtful.
Oh, it's not thoughtful. It's just very like, like you're taking the shortcut, which
Yeah.
again, I think, and I personally, I feel that we saw this, for example, like when I talked about the having the invitation business. That's when everything was moving towards digital. Well, what did we see happen? All of a sudden, back to the slow movement, letterpress, and letterpress became
Mm,
super popular for
yeah.
weddings because they wanted that kind of slow, hand, literally handcrafted.
Bespoke.
Bespoke. And I think we're going to be seeing, like, I think there's always going to be that need for things that are bespoke. Like there's a fast fashion. Well, now there's slow fashion is becoming,
Hmm.
kind of the du jour because people don't want to have, like, they're realizing like the cost on environmentally, the human cost,
Mm,
like how much is it costing these poor people? How much are they making in these sweatshops? So I can have like some flimsy piece of material. I'm going to wear it three times and then it's going to fall apart.
right. Right. Well, and how many more pieces of clothing do I actually need?
Yeah.
I just I've been doing a lot of deep spring cleaning here, and it's just such a wake up call that okay, I have all these things from my mom and dad from when they passed, and they're so hard to get rid of because they're a memory. There's a memory attached to that sweater or that tie or that hat or whatever. And then we have some things that the kids left behind when they left the house. We're empty nesters now. So we have, some stuff that, okay, we want to keep that around because our grandkids may want to play with that someday. And, it's all these things that just pile up that you can't let go of. But how much stuff do you really need? Just make the experience, make the memory.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that you bring this up, Penny, because like one of the clients that I work with, they're called Mylio, and it's an app to help you organize your memories, your photos.
Oh, fun.
You can take if you digitize any of like your
Yeah.
artwork and all of that, because
Hmm.
that's a real issue. And but this whole idea about yes, holding on to things, and then especially if it's been passed down, then you feel guilty. But
Exactly.
like my grandmother, like I inherited all of her Royal Dalton Old Country Rose. That little
Yes.
thing. It's
I've
in
got
my
my
grand,
mother's too. It's the
right?
same pattern.
Yeah. Apparently that was the single most
That was the
best-selling
one.
pattern of any of the
Oh
China
my gosh.
ever. The younger, like the millennials,
Oh,
not like they don't want them.
right.
If someone told me something really good, how I can release the guilt of wanting to get rid of it.
Hmm.
They said, "Did you use it?" And I said, "No, it was always in the
You
China
save
cupboard."
it for good.
and it was never, ever, ever used. And they said, well, that's why you have no emotional attachment to it, besides, oh, that was my grandmother's and she treasured it and now pass it on to me. You have no memories with that particular item.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah. So, yeah, I've finally come to the realization that, okay, I'll keep one cup, maybe two.
yeah,
I'll have tea in it and I'll remember my mom and I'll be fine with that. And the rest of it can go to a good home.
yeah, exactly. So I've made my peace with it.
Yeah. And that clutter, that extra stuff that's around us, it causes even mental fatigue. I feel it's just very draining to hold the weight of all of that.
They've done studies on it, actually. My mother was a hoarder, so I grew up with that. And it was,
Oh,
yeah, it was very like I am a minimalist. And her younger brother, he's a hoarder. I mean, and he keeps buying
mm,
books. And like we visited last summer, and it's literally a path because of books. And
yeah.
he's thankfully agreed that we can box them up and put them into a like warehouse.
And pay for storage
Yeah.
for, yeah.
Baby steps. But that's the
I
thing. Like
know.
it's especially when you're dealing with older relatives
Mm-hmm.
who, like they want to hold on to all of these things. And you're,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, like, okay, well, at one point they're going to have to no longer be living in this condo and
Yeah.
have to be cleaning it out.
Yep. Exactly. Well, and they grew up in a time when you didn't throw things away. You reused them until you couldn't. You
Yeah.
saved the good things for good because when company comes over, that's when we're going to bring them out. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting how everything has flipped. Like, look at my daughter, and she doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
those emotional, like, I mean, to things, you know,
Yeah.
it's, yeah, like she's like,
Very interesting. Yep. IKEA furniture, very temporary things and not, like the solid oak furniture that I'm looking around our house here that, it was passed down.
yeah,
So I have an emotional attachment to a lot of this furniture, but it doesn't really go with, it doesn't look like I want it I mean, it's just so much stuff that, yeah, it's a
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And I think for our generation, that's something we're in that kind of that
Transitional.
transition. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. We're caught in the middle of this.
Yeah. Yeah. The older I get, the more I realize that it's about the people, it's about the experiences, and I'm letting go of the stuff that represent that because I have the memory of it. And hopefully, yeah, which
Yeah.
brings it up a whole other set of worry for, okay, am I always going to remember this stuff?
Well, there's apps now that you can actually like, interview whoever, like your grandmother or whoever, to talk about.
Uh-huh.
So it's almost like creating a living,
Yeah.
like a living, reel that you
Yeah.
have to pass down.
Oh gosh, I wish I would have started this podcast when mom was still alive. She had Alzheimer's for the last, probably 15 years of her life. So it would have had to, it would have had to been before podcasts were even a thing. But that would have been really cool. And the more I think about it, the more I think I really want to interview my older relatives and my husband's older relatives and just have that record of their wisdom and their voice. That it's a legacy thing, to be able to go back and listen to all of
Yeah.
that wisdom from the women that are in our lives, that we try to absorb all of it, but wow, it'd be great to pass it down.
Yeah. And now we've got the tools. I mean, back in the day,
Yeah.
I remember like giving my grandmother like one of those little recorders.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I never did it. And I was like, and that's one thing I
Mm.
wish because yeah, we have like,
Yeah.
quick, like, how did like, I've got to get my aunt to do that because like my grandfather stowed away on a boat from Ukraine when he was 15. And
Wow.
then he, lied about his age and signed up when World War I, started and went back over to
Yeah.
fight. So it's like all of those stories and like, what about our
Stories.
family back in the old country? And yeah, I mean the times now, because you just time's
It's
fleeting.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We've been chatting for a while. Just
We have.
realized. So what have you not shared with my audience that you are just really wanting to share, or what wisdom would you like to give us?
Okay, if somebody has their own business, what I would say is, don't be afraid to tap into the power of the media. It's like podcasts are a fantastic, like I always joke, it's the great gateway drug to the media because, there's almost 4 million podcasts and
Hmm.
there's literally podcasts for everything. So you can get really, like really speaking one-on-one with your people. So you're almost speaking the
Hmm.
same language. But people are looking for, as you know, you're looking for the stories. Like you want something, what's the information that is going to be, my audience is going to find really interesting. So when you're reaching out to the media, it's never about you because this is going to sound harsh. They don't care about you.
Hmm.
Really. Like
But
what
that's a
they're,
blessing.
it
That's
is
a
a,
really
yeah,
good thing because then there's no pressure on you to be anything other than you.
exactly. They're looking for what can you bring to the table that is going to serve the audience? And if you
Hmm.
can like flip that in your mind from coming to them with a hat in hand, going, "Oh, please, sir, give me an interview," to being like, "Hey, I'm here to partner with you to give
Hmm.
you something that's going to be of extreme value to your audience, and they're going to really love this information I'm going to share." That's a whole like now you're approaching it as an equal partner, not
Hmm.
someone begging to be noticed. And that's a
Yeah.
power position. And I think a lot of women like we tend to not want to step up and be seen and take up space and have our voice heard. So it's kind of like, oh, that's
Yep.
okay. Well, no, like you have something to share, and there's nothing, life is not a Disney ride that says you have to be this high to get on the ride. Right? And I think a
Right.
lot of people, especially when it comes to the media, they think like, oh, well, when I hit six figures or when I have this, or no, you know what? Everyone's at a different point in their journey.
Hmm.
And no matter where you're at, you have something to share. You have, wisdom. Like maybe something maybe you've just started. Well, great. There's people listening who are just a step or two behind you. And if you
Yep.
can share what you did, then that's going to be fantastic for them. So I always say, don't ever belittle your experience or where you are
Yep.
right now is
Yeah.
valuable. And the faster you can get yourself out there, then the faster you're going to be able to, kind of put your flag in the sand and be known. I mean, my gosh, going back to when I started the wedding planning business, I mean, I just put myself out there. I mean, I've only been in
Yeah.
as a wedding planner, like, I don't know, like what, not a year or so, but we were working at, like, I went and I met this, I mean, I was interviewed on Martha Stewart Living Radio. I'd been a wedding planner
Oh,
for like
fantastic.
not even 2 years.
Yep.
But I just owned it. And because I owned it, like there's no one going to jump out of the bushes and be like, wait a second, what do you think you're doing? You're a big
Yeah.
fake. No one does that, but we tell ourselves that. And that is just the voice in our head trying to keep us small.
Exactly. Safe. Keeping
Yes.
us safe. We're afraid of
And
sharing.
and
How
and,
dare
and
we
you
keep
can't do
that to
that.
ourselves? If we have something that can help someone else, how dare we just not allow ourselves to say it?
Exactly. But we've been so conditioned to
Yep.
like not take, not be seen. And I
Yeah.
always say to my clients, how can someone find your light if you're keeping it hidden under the bush? Like there's people who need your
Exactly.
help. And the only way to do that is to get out there. And it's not about your ego, it's not about you bragging, it's about you sharing.
Yeah.
So I that's the one thing I would really encourage everyone is don't hide your light.
Love that.
Let it like just go out there and shine because that's how you grow. Had I not done that, and just said, yep, here's the information that I know. I'm going to help you with this. You know, when I got that award for the top 30 planners, destination wedding planners in the world, did I really think I was one of the top 30? Heck no. There was like people who were like way more talented than I am. But this because they saw me in the media.
Yeah.
So the perception was that. And having that social proof all of a sudden, because I tell you, when I first
Yeah.
started trying to get people to wire down 10, $20,000 to someone in Costa Rica, like,
Yeah.
aren't they living in huts down there? Like they didn't
Oh,
right?
you're Canadian. It's okay.
Yeah, with a lot of fear, a lot of unknown. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden, having that social proof, everything it just opened all the doors,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how things change literally on a dime just by putting yourself out there.
Hmm. By being brave, allowing yourself to be out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
To share what you know. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. So don't be afraid. That's the biggest thing. Just get out there and
Just
do
do
it.
it anyway. Do it
Yeah,
anyway until you're not afraid. And then try something
exactly.
else new. Yeah. Okay. So at the end of every episode, I always ask my guests, what's your favorite cocktail or favorite kind of wine?
Well, I am a gin drinker.
Mm.
Yes. So I know my daughter's always like, "Is this gin?" Blah. Um,
That's good.
yeah. So yeah, I love a really good gin and tonic.
Mm.
And there is it's actually a family friend we grew up with, started a distillery in Montreal, and he's taken over one of the original distilleries because at one point Montreal was like the place for had the most distilleries I think in North America.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's taken that over. He's actually doing whiskey, but of course, because it takes a while. So he started also doing gin. So he's got a gin. It's called Gin Sauvage, and
Mm.
it's called Circa, Cirka. I think you can only get it in Canada, but it's
Okay.
amazing because it has 33 different botanicals that he
Mm.
has sourced in Montreal and it ran around Quebec in the wild
Oh,
and whatnot. And it's the only gin that is like completely from grain to finishing, all from the province of Quebec. It's delicious.
wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What a great story, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
His mom is a sister of my mom's best friend since grade six. So
Oh.
we grew up because they were right from they're very, kept the culture of because they're from Ukraine. The family was from Ukraine. So
Uh-huh.
we grew up with that family as if like we were part of it. In fact, when we were little, uh, when the cousins actually found out we weren't really truly cousins, one of them started crying.
Oh.
But the nice thing is that now my daughter is like the cousins with the next generation of
Yeah.
family.
Oh. The
Yeah.
family we choose.
Yes, exactly.
Oh. That makes it even better. I'm sure it's even more delicious because of that.
It is. Yeah. So if you're ever in Quebec,
Yeah.
duty free, like pick up a bottle of Circa gin. It's
I will. That's a great story. And yeah, that stories like that, gosh, they make you want to taste it.
yeah. Yeah,
To
it's
live
just
it.
it's very nice. It's a really smooth. And then like I grew up in just outside of Niagara in Ontario.
Uh-huh.
So, but when I was growing up, it was just like Concord grapes. There was nothing. And then as
Oh
soon as
yeah.
I moved away, now it is just, of course, right from Stony Creek all the way through to Niagara Falls. It is just incredible vineyards. And that area
Mm.
has the best ice wine in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, are you familiar with ice wine?
I am familiar. It's very expensive.
Yes. Yes, and it's just that area because we have the escarpment from when the glaciers came through
Yeah.
and when they
Uh-huh.
receded. So it's almost like this mountain, but it's like completely perpendicular. And
Uh-huh.
it's a very short distance off from the lake shore. So the
Mm.
winds come off of Lake Ontario, they hit the escarpment, and so it's the circular, which is
Mm.
why the grapes can stay on the vines until the first frost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, and so they stay on the grape longer. It's a longer process. The grapes shrivel to raisins, so there's less volume there to be able to extract the very rich juice
Mhm.
and ferment it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're making me thirsty.
Yeah, so if you ever get a chance to head around to like the Niagara area, it's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic, and they have some incredible vineyard tours along with like farm to table,
Mm.
because that whole area is like where all the like fruits and vegetables and everything is
Yes.
very, very lush. The claim to fame is definitely ice
The
wine.
ice wine. Yeah.
Uh,
There are some producers farther south that produce ice wine with artificial means, meaning they will take the grapes when they're ripe and then freeze them.
Oh, okay.
after harvest, so it kind of, takes a step out of that, but, to be ripened on the vine and then frozen on the vine and then harvested and produced, oh my gosh.
Well, and they apparently, like, as soon as it hits that first frost of the year,
Mm-hmm.
they go out and they pick the grapes like in the middle of the night.
Oh, they'd have
Yeah.
to, because the ice then would otherwise, you'd lose it in the sunshine.
Yeah. So it's like that's part of what I think why it makes it so expensive. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, but
Oh,
yeah, so
wow.
I'm excited to, go back up and whenever we go visit, because, we can
Yeah.
literally just take a short drive and we're like, there's a ton of different vineyards doing some
Yeah.
stuff.
Taste your way across.
Exactly.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, this has been so much fun. And thank you for sending your links to me. That's very helpful. I'll include those in my show notes to let everyone know how to find you.
Yeah, perfect. And I have if a special freebie for everybody.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I have my podcast Palooza focused on pitching to podcasts, and but I'm giving it to everybody for free. So I think as a
That's fantastic. Thank you
yeah.
so much. So if some of my listeners are interested in being on a podcast, well, let me know first. And then, but then part of what you did for me was create this one sheet of all of your links, your headshot, your bio, all of the things that are, that I would have to look at the internet to find, to find for you. Um, so that's very helpful, I think, for people if you're trying to pitch yourself to a podcast host. That helps them create a better product too, which is
Right.
endearing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, like the easy, make yourself easy to work with, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think I included like 20 different questions
Yeah.
on the talking notes. Like that's something that we do for our clients. Because again, it's like we want to give like here's a full meal deal,
Uh-huh.
basically, so that because your podcast hosts are busy, like I can't imagine how many requests you get on a weekly basis for like one
It's
or two slots.
fun. Yeah, it's a lot, but wow, it's fun to see the stories of all these brilliant women, and it's uplifting, and I love it so much. It's one of my very favorite things. Like, speaking of pivots, the wine business shut down a couple of years ago. So my pivot was, well, I had just started my podcast and I wasn't sure where it was going to lead. I wanted it to lead, to something. And it has led to my own courses and coaching for women and supporting other women. But through it, it's just so amazing to hear all these stories and share them and create that legacy for everyone, to be able to learn from each other and share that wisdom. So I
Yeah.
appreciate your time and you being here and sharing yours.
Well, I appreciate you saying, yes and having me on the show so that I could have this conversation with you and
Yeah.
hopefully, inspire the listeners to just do it, like
Yeah.
get out there and shine that light.
Yes, absolutely. You have something to say. Let's get it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Larissa. This has been so fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Penny.
And it's great to meet you.
Likewise.
I'll talk with you soon.
Okay.
Bye. That's a wrap on this episode of Penny for Your Shots. If you loved today's conversation, don't let the inspiration stop here. Get my weekly insider updates straight to your inbox. It's where I spill behind the scenes goodies, exclusive tips, and all the fun stuff I don't always share on the podcast. Sign up now at pennyforyourshots.com/insider. I'll see you in your inbox next Thirsty Thursday. Cheers.